really that last week for us is going to be speaking stuff. So really I only have 2 weeks left of like teaching you stuff. It's crazy. So today's going to be a big day. I got my last new thing to teach you today. And then we're just kind of working on la comida, las recetas, some commands. And that's it. So I encourage you to keep your focus. I want you to get your cameras on. I want you to be here. I want you to participate. There'll be lots of opportunities to get some participation points today. Missing work. I've gotten a bunch turned in. So if you haven't, I think officially you have one more day on that credit recovery, right? I said for me, anything from this 9 weeks. So I left it open to you. I know a lot of you have turned things in and taken advantage of that. So hopefully you've seen your grade go up. So do that. Can't really give you any more opportunities than I have. So get your work done. What else? So this week, like I said, we got our last little new thing today. We'll have a quiz on Friday over commands. Then we'll have a quiz the following Friday over vocab and kind of the whole chapter. And then, like I said, that's it. So I encourage you to keep your focus, keep your effort levels high, and let's finish strong. So, all right. So my first thing I wanted to see if anybody here has still to do a Zoom link. And actually, I don't think they do. So I think we're done. Is everybody gone? Did I miss anybody? According to my records, I've done everyone. Okay. So let's jump into Mexico. So if you would please go to your current lesson, you should be able to pull up your Mexico notes from your video that some of us watched together and some of you watched on your own. And, you know, I sort of say Mexico. I like to do lots of different countries. Usually we know the most about Mexico than anything else. This kind of, I thought, had a good kind of mix of the highlights of Mexico. So that's why I wanted to show it to you. I would like to hit the highlights and share a few things with you and make sure we've got everything we need. So if you did not turn these notes in, please make sure that you do. And if you're missing things, I want you to make sure you're listening, you're asking questions while we hit the highlights. I guarantee you will see a few questions about Mexico on your next quiz. So let's make sure we've got everything that we need. So I didn't have the opportunity because we were all over the place last week to ask you what you already knew about Mexico. I'm sure some of these things you already knew, but hopefully you added to it just a little bit. So what stands out when we think about Mexico? I don't know. What kind of things are we thinking about? What do we know? What did we learn? What was interesting? What stands out from this movie? They have a museum of what, Anthony? Dead people, specifically what? Number 15. What kind of people? They are dead, but they are mummies. Yeah, that was kind of random. I did not know about that. I have not been to Guanajuato. Yeah, usually like in a really dry climates, they do tend to have more mummies. That was weird. Yeah, that was a little weird. Usually I caution people about using the word weird and we just say that's different, but that is pretty weird. Yeah, no good, no good. All right, so what else stands out? Thanks for starting us, Anthony. What else did you learn about Mexico? Quick participation point. Who's got it? Who wants it? All right, Maddie, go ahead. Charreada, number 9. Yeah, check your answers, by the way. Make sure you get the right answers. Okay, yes. Yeah, so the rodeo, the cattle is kind of a big thing in Mexican culture. So that was number 9, right? La charreada. And then women wear really elaborate, expensive dresses. Good. So that was 9 and 10. What else stands out, Maggie? Yeah, you gotta be careful. All right, so here's what I have. I have no idea where I got this from. I feel like, I don't know. I know somebody gave it to me. I definitely would not have bought this. So this is from Mexico. It's not exactly a lasso, but it's for herding cattle. And it actually like seems terrible. So you like swing it. I won't swing it. These are really hard. They're like, I don't know what's in them there. So like they're really hard. So you swing it around. And I think you let it go and it like goes around the cattle's feet, like their legs, so that they can't run away, like fall over. It sounds terrible. Like I said, I don't know how I acquired these. Somebody must have given them to me. But anyways, the rodeo and cattle and herding is a big part of business down there. And so these were my random cattle herding instruments. So anyway, yeah. So what else? Don't want to lose a finger. Oh, that was what you were talking about. Yeah, don't want to lose a finger if you get it stuck in your lasso. Go ahead, Anthony, and then I get you, girls. Go ahead. What, Anthony? Oh, yeah, I think that was interesting too. So that was on the back, right? In Acapulco, numero 19. It says special risk men take in Acapulco to impress the tourists as well as the ladies. Yeah, so they're cliff divers and they're a famous thing. They've been doing it for years and years and years. It's a, probably a tradition that's been passed on. And it's one of those things, is it dangerous? Yeah, super dangerous. So why do people do it? I mean, it's like the running of the bulls, right? It's like to prove, your skills to, I'm sure they get tips from the tourists. I remember, this is so random. My grandparents, when I was, I don't know, like 10, they came back from Mexico and they had these pictures they were showing me that blew them up. So they're 8x10s and they had the cliff divers of Acapulco. So I mean, I don't even know, that was, years ago. And so it's just been this ongoing tradition, kind of to show your machismo. So interesting. Okay, Nora, what else? Yeah, so let's go to numbers 23, 24, 25, 26, really 27. So let's go to that section. So Palenque is one of the famous Mayan sites. I actually have not been there. I've been to multiple other ones. So the Mayas were one of the older groups of people, kind of southern Mexico into Central America. So Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, kind of that southern area. And they're a really old group. So they were actually not there when the Spanish came. That empire was way done by then. And so when we talk about the Mayas, yep, we have to talk about kind of their religion. And here's the deal that I encourage you to think about. So everybody grows up with different beliefs, right? Sometimes they're just beliefs, sometimes they're packed into a religion. And basically, whatever you grow up with is what is normal to you. Okay, I encourage you to really try and look at this perspective. It seems normal to you. It might seem right to you. It might seem like just this is the way things are. Well, you have to understand that everybody grows up with their own beliefs or religion, and it seems right to them. So when you look at some of these indigenous beliefs, like the Mayas, right, they believed that you had to appease the gods, right? And if you didn't appease the gods, what would happen? Disaster. The world would end, right? No sun, no rain, no crops, no people. So if this is your belief and your religion, you're going to do everything you can to appease the gods. And how do you appease the gods? In this case, sacrifice, right? Human sacrifice, blood sacrifice, heart sacrifice. So it seems like crazy to us, right? From our perspective, but for their perspective, it's just what you did. Right? You grow up doing something, it seems normal, right? So I encourage you again to kind of shift your paradigm and your perspective and not think, oh, that's really weird, but think, oh, like that's really different. And it is. Sylvia?
What sparked the whole thing with human sacrifice? Besides that, this is the way that we need to
make that. I mean, I think, the Mayas go back to like BC times, right? So, I mean, you're talking 2000 years ago. And it just, I think, the whole like religion in general was kind of came about in different ways, but like it's to explain the unexplainable, right? To help understand science, because there was not the understanding of science 2000 years ago, right? So when you look at mythology and you look at like indigenous cultures, it just seemed like there was this idea that something controlled something. And I don't know, they also sacrifice pottery and gold and other things. But it just, there were a variety of ancient cultures that did that. So I don't know. I mean, it's super old. The idea of it. Charles? Oh, is that what those are called? Bola? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Isn't it like you like throw it and it like wraps around the cattle's legs? Thanks for checking. Okay. Anyway, so back to this idea. So that's where it comes from. And it's interesting because these people were so like sophisticated. If you look at number 24, the Mayas had this complex written what? Language and calendar, right? So, they were very like smart people. They were they were one of the first to develop the concept of zero, the concept of nothingness. This is a little mold of like the sun calendar that they used. And they were super accurate. Like they had the 365-day calendar. They tracked the sun, they tracked the moon, super, super advanced compared to other cultures at the time. Like in Europe, I mean, they had a lot more science understanding than anybody else. So it's really interesting. I think it's a really interesting thing to look at. I hope that at some point, if you do travel, you'll get to some Mayan ruins. So the Aztecs, if you go up to like, I don't know, 17 and 18, okay, different group of people in Mexico City, so north of where the Mayas were. And they were the ones that were there when Cortez came. They were the ones that were there that were conquered, right? And of course, by who? Number 17. Somebody want to do 17 real quick? Charles? Yeah, so the Spanish, the conquistadores. The Mayas were not their civilization. They're descendants of them today, right? Who, what does it say? How are they treated? Not great, yeah. So they're kind of an oppressed people now, but that civilization was not really around anymore when the Spanish came. Okay, so what else stood out? Anybody online want to share something? Get yourself a point. What'd you learn about Mexico? What stands out? Liliana?
I thought that number 29 was really cool.
Yeah. So tell us the Lacandan children can what?
Survive on their own.
By the time they're 12, can you imagine? Think of yourself at 12. Think of your little brother or your little sister. Like just, having so much knowledge of the jungle and survival skills that they can just go out there and survive at 12. That's pretty crazy, right? So, we think about all the things that we learn in school and they are very valuable, but like, I don't know. I mean, even at 16 or however old you are, could you go out and just survive?
Yeah.
I don't know. Could you find some food? Could you support yourself? Could you build a shelter?
In the jungle.
Well, it's interesting. Or in our world. I mean, both, it's a different question, right? None of us, I don't think, could survive in the jungle because we don't know enough about it. But even like in our world, I mean, it's an interesting, it's interesting, Okay, what else? What else stands out? What else stands out? Zoom friends, somebody want a point? Anybody hasn't gone yet? Want to get a point? What stands out? We go back to the front, maybe? Ayana, what are you thinking? What'd you learn or what stands out?
Did you already do number 25?
No, actually, we didn't talk about that, and I would like to. So go ahead, read number 25.
They believed the more noble one was, the more blood one had to sacrifice.
Yeah, so I kind of skipped over that, actually. I'm glad you brought that up. So, I mean, this really shows you how much they believed, all right? So they sacrificed a lot of blood. So how do you do that? Like, you cut yourself. Does that hurt? Yeah. So, like, if you didn't, it shows you how, if you didn't really believe it, would the nobles, the king, the queen, the royalty, would they be sacrificing their blood? No, I mean, they have the power. If you didn't really believe it, right? They have the power to have the slave sacrifice, the servants, the poor people. But again, the royal blood was what the gods really liked. So that was part of their challenge. That was part of their job description, right? As being royalty, as being the noble, the elite families, they had to sacrifice more blood to the gods. So, I mean, again, it just shows you the depth of their beliefs. Charles?
Didn't they say the more noble you are, the more blood you have? So are they talking about like in personality or like?
No, like in rank. It was a very classed society. So you had like the servants and the workers, and then you probably had the middle, and then you had the upper class. Sure, go ahead.
The
Revolution? Revolutionary? I don't know. Keep going. In question, which one? That was where they had to live in the jungle. Do you mean 28? The Zapatistas? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. So the Zapatistas were, yeah, they're revolutionaries. They're kind of a group that are trying to overturn the government, right? And give the land back to the people. Absolutely. Yeah. So that was the Zapatistas have always been, had a strong presence in the country. What else? I feel like we've mostly gotten the back. What's the base of Mexican food? Tortillas. Maddie, what were you gonna say? Yeah, sure. Some water sports. Somebody got those? Number 16? Who got some water sports? Go ahead.
Water skiing and jet skiing, surfing.
Yeah, water skiing, jet skiing, surfing. I think they were doing some parasailing. Any of those? Yeah. I mean, it is. Acapulco's a big tourist destination, right? Lots of beach. So yeah, definitely. Yes. What else we got, Kaylee?
When the Aztecs were given silver and gold, they had children of the-
Yeah, not great. What number was that? Number 18. Okay, yeah, when Cortez arrived, right? So you've probably heard this story before, right? The Aztecs greeted him, welcomed him. They actually thought he was a god, right? And they were very welcoming. And in return, what did they get? Tortured, conquered, smallpox. You know, I mean, it was not a great exchange there. Enslaved. So yeah, not great, not great. Want to talk about Day of the Dead a little bit? There's the first few questions are all about Day of the Dead. I know we've talked about that before. So what are some symbols that go with Day of the Dead? Yeah, the sugar skulls. Look, I've got one here too. I'll show you my little
You
sugar.
actually like eat the whole thing.
I don't, yes, you can. I don't, yeah, I mean, it's like really like just sugar with like some frosting on it. A lot of them are just decorative, but I mean, you can. I'm sure kids do.
No.
So yeah, you've got the sugar skull. Right now, check out my little skulls. I feel like I've showed these to you before, probably around Day of the Dead. What is Day of the Dead? Like November. Mhm. So what's the big difference, right? Are these scary Halloweeny skeletons? No. What are they? How do they look different? What's the difference? They're pretty. They're bright. They're always colorful, right? It's a super colorful holiday. Here are my little figures. I'll show them to you guys up close for a second. So you've got the the symbolism of the skeleton, but they're just like people, right? I know this is so small you can't see it, but he's a little potter. He's making some pottery, and I don't know, they're doing some school or something. So again, the imagery of the skeleton and the skull is so different than our Halloween imagery. And basically, like what I would like you to recognize, somebody want to do number 5 for us? Who's got 5? Who would like a quick point? Hasn't gotten one, maybe? Quentin, do number 5. I feel like you're unmuted, Quentin. I cannot hear you. You want to mute and unmute one more time? See if it's, try again. Say
Can you
something.
hear me?
Yes, now I can. Yes.
Okay. In Mexico, the idea of death is different. They know that everyone is going to die, and that this is a natural holiday. I mean, natural. So this is a happy celebration.
Yeah, it's happy celebration. So I love it. This is one of my favorite holidays. In our culture, death is viewed as very really sad, which it is. I mean, of course, and it's not like it's not sad in Mexico, right? You still miss the person. But the difference is this day in particular, especially, it's about celebrating their life. Instead of being really sad that this, your grandma or whoever it is has passed away, right? You celebrate that person. You remember why they were special to you. You remember why you love them and why they were important to you. And you remember all the good times instead of focusing on how sad you are that they've died. And I think that's something that we can really learn in our culture, right? Because it's so easy to be sad. You miss your loved one, you miss your pet, you miss your whoever, your friend. But again, if you can shift at least to some degree and focus on like how much you love that person and why, I think that's, just a much more positive kind of way to view it, right? And so I really like that. Here's my one other little funny thing. It's my little coffin, and then you pull it and the little guy pops up. So it's kind of cute. All right, so I think we've hit the highlights. Is there anything that you need me to clarify? Is there anything that you're missing that you just couldn't figure out that you want someone to answer for you? Otherwise, we're probably gonna move it along here. Anything? We good? Okay, so keep your notes. Obviously, like I said, you'll see a few questions about Mexico on your quiz on Friday, all right? So we are going to move on. We are going to go back to commands. Today is the last day for me to give you new information for the whole semester. So I want to make sure we have our focus. I want to make sure we're all engaged and paying attention. And let's kind of finish up our last new thing, literally of the whole semester. So I want you to go ahead and head to your current lesson. The first thing before we do our -2 commands, this is our last new thing. I want to go back through +2 commands one last time. So please head to your current lesson and I want you to click on number 2 and we're going to look through that together. So please open that up. That was a practice you were supposed to do from last week. So I thought we could use that to review before we do the new stuff. So if you're distracted, if you're doing something else, once you get your focus, okay? Have a little sip of water, do a little stretch if you need to, and I really want you to get your focus here so you don't miss anything. All right, I will screen share here in a second, but really I want you looking at your 2 command practice. So everybody should have it pulled it up right now. Everybody have it? You're looking at it? All right, whether you got 10 out of 10, which most of you did, I want you to look at it with me. Let's review together. So look at question 1. All right, +2 command. You are telling someone what to do, right? Do your homework, listen, pay attention. All right, how do I do that? Somebody want to raise your hand real quick? How do I do that? What do I do to my verb? I want to make sure you're clear on this because then it's going to change. Nora, how do I do that? LA usted form. Okay, that was what number 1 tells you, which means an AR verb usually ends with what, class A? A or A. And an ER-IR verb usually ends with E. Great. All right, so question number 2. 2 commands are used with everybody who we using 2 commands with. Friends and family. Okay, these are informal commands. All right, now look at question 3. I want you to look these over and make sure you got these. So, habla. If I want you to speak Spanish, I say habla español. If I want you to play, I say juega. If I want you to drink something, bebe, corre, escribe. All right, you've got the answers there. So look at them. All right, I think I had 4 that had a little stem change. I would expect you to be okay with juega, duerme, prueba, and hierve. Okay, those are 4. I'm not saying I'll put all of them on your quiz on Friday, but they're fair game. Otherwise, you should be able to take any verb I give you and just put it in the he, she form. So I want you to look those over right now and make sure you do not have any questions for me. I want to make sure you're super clear on this before I give you something new. Everybody looking at your answers. Questions. How are we looking? Anything I can clear up for you? Okay, look at question 4. Did Sal Pon say Beben has 10? That's what you got to know. Hey, say it with me. What is it? Did Sal Pon say Beben has 10? Say it again. Did Sal Pon say Beben has 10? Now you say it. All right, this is the second time I'm going to quiz you over this. The first time was in January. So look them over. And you have to know that did or D goes with number 4. You got to know what they're connected to, decir. And you got to know did Sal, which one does Sal go with? What number? Salir, which is number 6. Pon goes with number? Number 1, right? Did Sal Pon say goes with number 8. They goes with, I think it's 3 on there. Are you looking at it with me? Yeah. Number 3. Then goes with 2. Did Sal Pon say Beben has goes with 7, hacer, and 10 for tener. All right. So now the only thing I will tell you is on Friday, I'll probably mix like questions 3 and 4 together. So I'm not going to say these are regular, these are irregular. You have to know which ones are. All right. Any questions for me on these? I'm going to let you have about 2 minutes, maybe 3, to practice on these one more time. Then I'm moving on to the new stuff. Any questions on this activity? Okay. So what I want you to do is go back to your current lesson. Under number 2, I want you to click on that Quizlet. And I want you to spend, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to go through these guys one last time and make sure you know them. If you think you know them, do a quick matching game, do a quick gravity game. If you don't think you know them, then flip through your cards one more time. All right, let me find my phone. We're doing 3 minutes, starting now. Ready, set, go. Use your time, use your time, use your time. Use your time, use your time. All right, 3 minutes has started. In the meantime, I'm assuming everybody in here got notes because that's on deck. Anybody that needs them? Okay, we'll do that next. See, Nor. Oh, what they mean? Probably not specifically. Question is, do you need to know what they mean? You should be familiar with it, but on this one, it's more grammar-y. Now, by the next quiz, I would say you wouldn't have to pick the vocab word, right? But on this, it's probably more just knowing your forms. Okay, good question. I will say, though, these are super common verbs. Okay, sorry, let me just go back there. All right, so I'm going to say that one more time. Okay, so usually AR verbs end with A. We are using the opposite plus S. All right, so number 2, opposite ending plus S. So that means AR verbs are going to end with ES, and ER and IR verbs are going to end with AS. And then you add an O in front. So yo form, drop the O. Opposite ending plus S, add an O in front. So let's look at my examples here real quick. All right, so here's what we have done. Positive command, habla, speak Spanish. Corre, run. Now what we're gonna do is put a no in front. We're gonna do the opposite ending plus S after we put it in the yo form. Now, neither of these are irregular, but we'll get to some that are in a minute. So no hables inglés, do not speak English. Or no corras en la escuela, don't run at school. All right, that's what we're talking about. All right, so you got 5 to try. Let's do one together. Then I'll let you have some time and then I'll let you check your answers with a friend. All right, so let's talk about beating eggs. Okay, so if I want you to beat the eggs, I'm going to put it in the he, she form. Class A, what would the he, she form be? Close. Yes. Bate. Bate los huevos. Beat those eggs. All right. Now, on the other hand, and we don't want those eggs to, I don't want you to beat them. I'm always going to start with the word no. That means don't in Spanish. Okay. All right. Now I've got the yo form. I'm going to do the whole thing for you because some of these are regular. Bato, drop the O, opposite ending plus S. No batas. There it is. No batas. Los huevos. Don't beat those eggs. Everybody see how I got that? Okay, I want you to try the next 4. You might want to do all the positives since they follow the same rules and then all the negatives. Don't forget, I didn't tell you the stem change here, but I gave you a star to remind you it stem changes. What's that E going to stem change to? Who remembers? I-E. There it is, I-E. All right, so try these. I'm going to stop sharing. Everybody do their own work. I'm going to let you then actually share with a partner before we go through them. All right, so take a second, kind of a little check-in, see if you get it. And then we'll make sure they're all perfect for your notes. All right, let's regroup it and get some answers here. From what I heard, they sounded pretty good. So who wants a point? Tell me, what do we got? Boil and don't boil. Charles, start us off. Hierve, clase repitan. Hierve, or no, hierbas. I know it's a funny one. Repitan clase, no hierbas. Don't boil that. Good. All right, how about listen? Listen, Hannah. Escucha and don't listen to that garbage, Hannah. How are you gonna say that? Escuches. There it is. All right, how about Drink your milk. Anthony? Uh-huh. Bebe and no bebas. Sounds good. All right, obviously you are checking your work here. If something does not look right, you need to fix it. These are your notes. We don't want your notes to not be perfect. Shirley, what do we got? Mezcla. And don't mix those yet. No mezcles. Perfecto. All right, so double check. First column is just the he, she form. Second column, yo form, drop the O, opposite ending plus S. What do you think? Did we mostly get them? Okay, if not, you're making sure everything's perfecto before I go on to a few irregulars on the back. The irregulars are not that bad. It looks like a lot, but it's really not. It's less than the did salpon. All right, can I go to the back? All right, here we go. Ten cuidado. All right, first up, we got 3 endings. Hopefully these are not hard because you've already done these. See if you can remember when we did these before. You got to be careful of verbs that end in car, gar, and zar. Do you remember talking about those before? Okay, so hopefully this will spark your memory. They were irregular in the preterite for the same reason, because we use that opposite ending. So again, same problem here, right? If you take jugar, you want the, if I don't want you to play soccer, I say no juegues. And if I don't have that U in there, it's no juegues. And I need the G, so I add in a U. Now look how weird this looks, because it's got UE from the he, she form or the yo form. And then it's got another UE, so it's not juegues. So check out that word for a minute. It does look funny, but that's right, no juegues. All right, so that's my gar. Here's a car. I use picar, it's a vocab word. What's picar? To chop. All right, if I don't want you to chop the onion, no piques. But if I keep that C in there, it says no pieces. And I need the K, so I have to add in what 2 letters? QU. And finally, the Z is a little harder to hear, but if you have a ZAR verb, the Z is going to change to a C in pieces. All right, so you got the car, gar, zar to be careful of. All right, now listen, look at my list here. This is the did sal poem, say Baben has 10. However, okay, most of these are not irregular anymore as long as you use the yo form. Okay, this is literally the last thing, the last new thing I'm going to tell you. So listen, I'm going to say it again. Okay, most of these are not irregular except for the starred ones, unless, as long as you use the yo form. Here's why we use the yo form. Look, ago, pongo, tango, vengo, salgo, digo. They're all go verbs. Do you remember that? I don't know, but I'm telling you now, they're all go verbs in the present tense. I make ago. I put pongo. I have tango, right? I come, vengo, I leave, salgo, and I say digo. So I am telling you right now, if you remember to use the yo form, you will get all those. Then you drop the O, add the opposite ending plus S, and you'll get no agas, no pongas, no tengas, no vengas, no salgas, no digas. So these 2, I guess I'll highlight them for you. You might want to highlight them too. Are the only 2 that are truly irregular. Okay. No vayas, don't go. No seas, don't be. Everything else is pretty much opposite ending plus S. That's it. That's it. Done. Like if I had a mic, I'd drop it. Done. That's it. Yeah.
So the original ending is the O ending.
Uh-huh. Right. So like, yeah. So like for aser, if you do the yo form, you'd get yo ago. You drop the O, add the opposite ending would give you, it's an ER verb, as, and put a no in front. And so it really just follows the same, the rules, no agas. You just have to remember that the yo form is ago, pongo, tango, vengo, salgo, digo. Okay. All right. So that's it. I'm going to have some time to practice. Let me show you what I want you working on now and for tonight and for tomorrow. I've got 2 little practices that I want done by Wednesday night. So by Thursday, you're done. You've practiced. We can review and then quiz Friday. All right, that's where we're headed with this. So let me go ahead and I'll just go ahead and share my current lesson so you can see what I want you to work on. And then you can go do it. So Here's current lesson. Oh, I guess I should put it over here so you guys can see it. Wait a minute. Oh, no, I'm not sharing it. Sorry. Always the same. Okay, so if you go to your Tarea, you got to practice with 2 commands that should be open for you now. If it was not earlier, it should be open now. And it's basically like this practice we did before with positive 2 commands. So take your time on that and go through, do that one. And then there's one textbook guided grammar activity on the positive commands that I would like you to do. So if you do both of those by Wednesday night, okay, then Thursday we'll do a review. Tomorrow we'll do like a Nearpod to review as well. And then Thursday we'll play some games and then Friday quiz. Make sense? Any questions for me? Yeah,
On the textbooks, did you say if you get like 80% or up?
70. Yeah, you only have to get 70. Okay. Any other questions for me? All right, well, that's what I want you to work on. So Zoom friends, we can say hasta luego. I will see you tomorrow. Go work on your little Canvas practice. Is short. You should be able to get that done right now. And then you decide if you want to do the textbook tonight or tomorrow night. Okay? Hasta luego, unless you have any